Hello and welcome to Arnie's Short Stories. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Curse of St Helens. The wind howled across the windswept cliffs of the Isle of Wight, its mournful cry carrying an otherworldly chill that seemed to seep into the very bones of those who dared wander too close. Holly Arnold tightened her coat around her, gazing at the shadowed silhouette of St Helens Church, its crumbling spire stabbing at the storm-laden sky. The ancient structure had loomed in her dreams for weeks, whispering secrets in a language she couldn't understand. Now, standing before it, she felt the weight of its history pressing against her chest like a vise. Holly was no stranger to mysteries. As a journalist for the local paper, she had unraveled her fair share of strange occurrences on the island, but none had ever felt this personal. She glanced down at the brittle letter in her gloved hand, its faded ink scrawled in a trembling hand. "Stop the curse," it read, "before it consumes us all." She stepped through the creaking iron gate, its rusted hinges groaning in protest. The graveyard surrounding the church was a maze of leaning headstones, their inscriptions weathered beyond recognition. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. As she approached the church door, the feeling of being watched crept over her. She turned, but the graveyard remained still, the shadows unmoving. The door yielded to her touch with a reluctant moan. Inside, the nave was cloaked in darkness, save for the weak light filtering through the stained glass windows. Dust motes danced in the air, and the faint scent of incense lingered, as if the church itself refused to let go of its sacred past. Holly's footsteps echoed as she moved cautiously forward, her flashlight sweeping over rows of pews that seemed to bow under the weight of unseen sorrow. At the altar, a figure waited. Holly froze, her breath hitching in her throat. The figure was a woman, dressed in a tattered wedding gown, her veil hanging limp over her face. She seemed to shimmer, her edges blurred, as though she were more shadow than substance. "You came," the woman whispered, her voice a brittle melody that sent shivers racing down Holly's spine. "You are brave or foolish." Holly swallowed hard. "Who are you?" "I am Elena," the apparition said, lifting her veil to reveal hollow eyes that wept black tears. "I was to be wed here, but my love betrayed me. On that day, I cursed this place and all who tread upon its grounds." The air grew colder, and Holly's breath formed invisible puffs. "What do you want from me?" Eleanor's spectral form wavered. "The curse has festered, feeding on the bitterness of my heart. It twists this place, drawing the lost and the damned. Break the cycle, Holly, bring me peace, or the curse will claim you too." Before Holly could respond, Elena dissolved into a mist that swirled around the altar and vanished. The church fell silent, save for the distant rumble of thunder. Holly's hands trembled as she clutched her flashlight. The letter had warned of inexplicable events, but nothing had prepared her for this. She searched the church, her flashlight revealing hidden alcoves and forgotten relics. In a dusty corner, she found an ancient ledger, its leather cover cracked with age. Inside were the names of those who had served at St Helens, along with cryptic notes that hinted at dark rituals and forbidden pacts. One name was circled repeatedly, Reverend Thomas Gray. The ledger mentioned a secret chamber beneath the church. Holly's pulse quickened as she found a trapdoor concealed beneath a loose stone near the altar. With considerable effort, she pried it open, revealing a narrow staircase that spiraled into darkness. The air that wafted up was stale, carrying the scent of something long buried. Descending into the depths, Holly felt the oppressive weight of the earth around her. The chamber was small and circular, its walls lined with symbols carved deep into the stone. At the center lay a stone table, upon which rested a book bound in human skin. Beside it, a chalice glimmered faintly in the dim light. The moment Holly touched the book, a cacophony of whispers filled the chamber. She recoiled, but the whispers grew louder, forming words that clawed at her sanity. "Release me," they demanded, "and do what was done." Holly opened the book, its pages filled with ink that seemed to writhe as she read. It told the story of Elena's betrayal and the dark ritual Reverend Gray had performed to bind her spirit to the church. The ritual had gone awry, creating a vortex of malevolence that ensnared not only Elena but all who entered the church's grounds. The final page described a counter-ritual, one that required courage and sacrifice. Holly's hand shook as she realized what it entailed. She would have to confront Eleanor's wrath and offer her own blood to sever the curse's hold. Returning to the nave, Holly set the chalice upon the altar and pricked her finger with a shard of broken glass. The droplets of blood shimmered as they fell into the chalice, mingling with a strange luminescence that seemed to seep from the very air. As she recited the incantation, the church trembled, the walls groaning as if in agony. Eleanor appeared once more, her form now monstrous, her wedding gown tattered and stained. "You dare?" she shrieked, her voice a tempest that sent pews crashing against the walls. "You think you can undo what was done?" Holly stood her ground, her voice steady as she completed the incantation. The chalice glowed brighter, its light cutting through Eleanor's fury. The apparition screamed, her form fracturing like glass. With a final, heart-wrenching cry, she shattered into 1,000 shards of light that dissipated into the ether. But the victory was fleeting. As Holly caught her breath, she noticed the symbols on the chamber walls glowing faintly. A deep, guttural growl echoed from the depths below. The counter-ritual had weakened the curse but not destroyed it. Eleanor had been a pawn, her torment merely a veil for something far older and more malevolent. Holly scrambled back to the trapdoor, slamming it shut just as a shadowy tendril lashed out, narrowly missing her. Her heart thundered as she heard the muffled roars of whatever lay beneath. The church trembled, but the trapdoor held. Exhausted and battered, Holly left St. Helens at dawn, the rising sun painting the church in hues of gold. But she knew her battle was far from over. The entity beneath the church was still bound, its rage simmering. For now. As Holly walked back to her car, she resolved to delve deeper into the island's history. St. Helens was just the beginning, a gateway to a darkness that ran far deeper than she could have ever imagined. And Holly Arnold, the reluctant guardian of the Isle of Wight, would have to face it one shadow at a time. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please don't forget to like, and even better, like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I hope you have had or have a great day.